Hi friends, how are you guys doing today? Welcome to another episode of the Expat Answer Man vidcast. Nice to see you guys today, and I'm happy to have you aboard. Okay, I want to start out today's program by talking about martial law. As you guys probably know, martial law was started in Mindanao back in May of this year. There was a kind of an armed insurgency by an ISIS related group or an ISIS group over in Marawi City, which is over in kind of northwestern Mindanao. It's in the province of Lanao del Sur, and it's a heavily Muslim area, and it's Muslim terrorists that are doing this. So not a good situation. But martial law has still been ongoing ever since then. So we're into it about, 4 months now, something like that. 4 to 5 months. I didn't look at it, but something like that. It was originally only supposed to be for 60 days, but they extended it because the fighting is really still ongoing in Marawi. And there's still insurgents there, and they're still holding hostages. In the last week or so, two different hostages were released. They were liberated by the armed forces of the Philippines, so that was a good deal. But, for most of the island of Mindanao, life really has not changed any under martial law. Here I am in Davao City. We're over in eastern Mindanao, southeastern Mindanao, and really things have not changed here. Everything is the same. About the only thing that has changed is we've got there's basically three entry points into the city, plus the airport. But as far as land transportation entry, there's three different places where you can enter the city. And for many years, there have been armed Philippine forces there at those entries, and they check everybody coming into the city to make sure that there's no terrorists and that kind of thing. And it's been very effective. Now, that's been stepped up for the last few months under martial law. These days, when you go through there, you have to show ID. In the past, you didn't have to show ID. Now you have to show ID. And they scrutinize you a little bit more now, but it's never been a problem. As a matter of fact, I'm very supportive of that because it keeps those guys out of the city. As a matter of fact, I think it was in June, one of the father of the leaders of the insurgency in Marawi was coming to Davao City. Apparently, he had some kind of a heart condition, and he was coming into the city to seek medical assistance. And he was caught at one of those checkpoints. The checkpoint that I go through fairly often, anytime I'm going to travel down to General Santos City or anywhere south of the city, that checkpoint is in Toril, which is part of Davao City, just on the outskirts of town. And I go through there anytime I'm going to go south, which in the last, let's say I've been going maybe once a month or so in the last few months. Before that, I might only go once or twice a year, but there's been some reasons that I wanted to go down and visit famous family or whatever in the last few months. And so I passed through there regularly, and it was right there that they caught one of the terrorist group. And so it is very effective, and I'm very supportive of that. Like I say, that's been going on for years. I'm going to say probably more than 10 years, maybe even 15 years. There was a bombing in Davao back in 2002, and I think it was right after that they started up what they call Task Force Davao, and it's been there ever since. There's never been a time that they stopped it. I don't recall for sure that they started in 2002, but I think that's when they may have started. So it's been very good. Now, lately, I've been getting a lot of emails from people asking me about coming to visit Davao City. And what they've been saying is that, oh, I read that it's very dangerous there. You've got martial law. It's very dangerous for me to come there. To be honest, that's about as far from the truth as you can get. Davao has always been considered a very safe city. It's a strict law and order city. The mayor here before was Rodrigo Duterte, who's the president of the Philippines now. His daughter is our mayor now. Her name is Inday Sara Duterte, and she's also a strong leader. And to be honest, most people who live in Davao City, which are called Davaoeños, most Davaoeños are very supportive of martial law and feel that it's safer than even what it was before under martial law. So most people here want to support martial law. They even want to extend it because it's even safer than it used to be, and it was already considered very safe. So that's what I have to say about safety in Davao. You know, most of Mindanao Island is quite safe. There are places that are very dangerous, and you should not go to those places. And I'm not saying anywhere in Mindanao is safe. I'm certainly not saying that. Some people claim that I say that, but I've never said that. There are places you should not go in Mindanao. Davao City is not one of those places. For the most part, the northern part of Mindanao and the eastern part of Mindanao are relatively safe. Now, don't consider that as a blanket statement, but in general, that's true. If you have a certain place where you want to go check out, check into that first. You can email me or whatever, or check with somebody else to find out about the specific place you want to go. But in general, that part of the Philippines is quite safe, or that part of Mindanao. So anyway, that's what I have to think about that. I think I've been living here in Mindanao for almost 18 years now, and I think I know a thing or two about the place. I've been pretty much everywhere you could go in Mindanao. So I've been around. I've lived here a long time. I know how things are here. Okay, so we have a listener question today, and it's going to come from Greg. And he's curious about opening a bank account in the Philippines. He has some more specific questions about things like avoiding fees and how to open a bank account. And we'll let him give his question, and then I'll talk about it and share my thoughts with you. So thank you for joining us today. Let's have a commercial break, and then we'll go straight over to Greg asking his question about banking in the Philippines. Hi, I'm Bob Martin. My wife Fema and I started WOW Philippines in the year 2000. I feel that we are the natural choice to take care of your gift deliveries in the Philippines. We understand your needs and expectations because we have been through the process similar to what you are doing. I am an American. Fema was born and raised in the Philippines, but she's now a dual citizen, United States and Philippines. We married in 1990. Fema lived in the United States for 10 years. We know the customer service expectations of foreigners. Most Philippine companies have no understanding of that. That is why we are the company that can meet your needs. Come and visit us today at WOW Philippines. Flowers, chocolates, whatever you want to send to that special someone, we are here to help you. WowPhilippines.com. Visit us today.
Hi, Bob. This is Greg. I have a question about opening an account at a bank. I have a checking account in Alaska, and I'd like to open an account there. I traveled there twice last year, once in February, and I'm going again in November. I'd rather open an account using a debit card there or personally going into the bank instead of always using my debit card at ATM machines and getting dinged twice for surcharges. Thank you.
Hi, Greg. Thank you for calling in on my voicemail line with your message there or your question. And let me see how I can help you here. So, the first thing is, it was a bit unclear to me when you kept saying there. Really, the way that the question sounded, it sounded like there was in Alaska. But I think that you were talking about there being the Philippines, but you didn't really make that clear. I'm going to assume when you said, I want to get a bank account there, that you were talking about in the Philippines. I had a couple of my people listen, and they all thought that you were talking about Alaska, but it seems you were talking about the Philippines. So let's address it that way. If I'm wrong on that, why don't you email me back or whatever, and I'll see how I can answer that for you then. Okay, so Greg, you said you're trying to avoid fees. You said you're getting dinged when you go to the ATM machine, so you want to go inside the bank instead. The thing is, Greg, it's just like anywhere else in the world. You're going to have bank fees no matter where you go. Now, yes, there are a little more fees on an ATM machine, but you will have fees inside the bank or out at the ATM. So just be aware of that. Keep that in mind. Okay, so, banks charge money everywhere you go, no matter where in the world. Now, if you want to open an account at a Philippine bank, usually you need to have what's called an ACR iCard. An ACR is an Alien Certificate of Registration. And it's a little card. It's kind of a credit card size. It looks a little bit like a driver's license, has your photo on it, that kind of thing. You didn't mention anything about what kind of visa you're going to have. If you have a resident visa, like a 13A, 13G, or whatever, you will automatically have to get an ACR iCard. So you'll get that. An ACR iCard costs $50, or I guess I should say the equivalent in pesos of $50 US, which you can figure right now, that's going to be about 2,500 pesos, roughly. It changes because it is pegged to the dollar on that particular fee. You'll have to just go fill out an application at the Bureau of Immigration, and it usually takes a couple months. They have to send off to Manila to get your ACR iCard and have it sent to wherever it is that you're applying. For me, I live in Davao City, so I go to the BI office here in Davao. They take the picture, they do everything, take my application and my money, and then about 2 months later, they get that back from Manila, and I'll go down and pick it up at the BI office. Okay, so roughly $50. Now, if you're going to be here on a tourist visa, you can't really get an ACR iCard until you've been in the country for more than 59 days. And you are actually required, if you're going to stay longer than 59 days, to get an ACR iCard. Same rules, same price, just fill out an application, pay the peso equivalent of $50 US, and it'll take a while to get it. Around 2 months, just like if you were on the 13A visa. Okay, so once you have an ACR iCard, Greg, you're just going to go into the bank, and they're going to ask to see your ACR card. You'll show it to them, and they'll open an account for you. Now, one thing about it, Greg, is, this is the Philippines. No rules are hard and fast. Most banks are going to require an ACR card for you to get a bank account. But you can also find banks that will not require it. The other thing about that is I can't say, well, X bank, Union Bank or BDO doesn't require an ACR iCard, because it's not like that. There's no bank that the entire network of banks doesn't require an ACR iCard. But you will find branches. Maybe there's a dozen branches of BDO or so in Davao City. Maybe you'll find 1 or 2 of them that won't ask for an ACR iCard. Maybe all of them are going to ask. It just depends. It's going to change. Some days they might ask, some days they won't. So I can't say that you must have an ACR iCard, Greg, but generally that's what's required. Okay, so you're going to get your bank account. They'll open that, right away, first day, and then you can start putting money in there. Now, you didn't say where the money's going to come from. For instance, maybe you're getting a Social Security check. Maybe you have veterans benefits from the VA. Maybe you have a pension from the company that you worked for. How that money's going to get into the bank account just depends on where it's coming from. For U.S. government checks, mostly, for, VA, for Social Security, those can be direct deposited into many different bank accounts in the Philippines. And I have listed which banks accept U.S. government direct deposit on previous podcasts and previous posts on my blog. Most of the banks here will take U.S. government direct deposit. And that's probably going to be the cheapest way to get your money into your Philippine bank account if it's coming from the U.S., Greg. Most banks, I had posted previously a list of bank fees for doing a U.S. government direct deposit. And most banks were only charging, $3 or $4. I think the highest priced one, as I recall, was $5 to do a direct deposit. And there was one that was only $1 to accept a direct deposit. So it's very cheap. Even the most expensive bank, only $5 for a direct deposit. That's very inexpensive. So that should make it very easy for you. Very cheap also. Okay, Greg, so if your money's coming from some other source, you'll just have to check. If you have a private company that deposits or gives you a pension check every month, or for whatever reason they're paying you every month, they may also offer direct deposit into Philippine banks. You'll just have to check with that company and see what they say. All right, if you're going to transfer money from your U.S. account into the Philippine account, Greg, there's a number of ways you can do that. You could use an ATM, but like you said, there are fees. You're going to get dinged on that. A way that I like to do is using a service called Zoom, which is spelled XOOM.com. I believe it's pronounced Zoom, though. And that company has been around for many years. It used to be an independent company. It is now owned by PayPal. I'm sure pretty much everybody's familiar or has heard of PayPal, which is an online money transfer system. PayPal bought out Zoom some time back, and I've used that service under PayPal. I had some money in my U.S. bank account, and my son actually took care of doing that transfer while he was in the United States a while back. And it's very cheap. It was very easy. As I recall, I think at the time I did it, you could transfer $2,000, and I think it was like $5 to transfer $2,000, which is quite cheap. If you do a wire transfer, it's much more than that usually, and there's usually fees on both ends. I got an email from Zoom lately, and they informed me that they've now increased, and you can transfer up to $10,000 at a time. I didn't check how much the fees are, but I don't think it's much more, I would imagine. So, $5, $10, you can probably send $10,000 here. That's well worth it. All right, another thing is, Greg, maybe you're earning money online. I earn most of my money online, and I get a lot of payments through PayPal. I have a bank account at Union Bank. One of my accounts there is called an EON account, E-O-N. That is basically, you just get a debit card, and you can transfer money onto that card. PayPal works great with a EON debit card. The money transfers onto there almost immediately. I mean, within seconds, the money that I send from PayPal is already available on my card. I can go to the ATM machine at Union Bank or any other ATM in the Philippines and get that money out. Or I can use it as a debit card. I can go to SM or wherever I want to buy groceries, and I can use that to pay. I can use it just about anywhere. Any place that accepts credit cards, it is a Visa debit card, so you can use it anywhere that Visa is available. Okay, another option which I recently started using, Greg, is called PayMaya. They've got an Android or iPhone app, iOS app, that you can put on your phone, and it's also a money transfer system where you can link your Visa debit card from PayMaya to your PayPal account and transfer those funds. Again, it's immediate. It just takes seconds for the funds to end up on your card. So, there's a lot more options. When I first moved here back in 2000, I mean, it was very hard to get your money from the United States. Now, it's very easy, or you don't even have to go from the U.S. You can use PayPal now. Before, PayPal was not even available in the Philippines. So there's a lot of money transfer options, ways to get your money, and it's also a lot cheaper than it used to be, Greg. So I think that'll help you out. And like I say, if we're asking something else that we didn't understand, please just email me and let me know, and I'll be glad to help you out, Greg. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in this week to the Expat Answer Man videocast. Always enjoy doing these things, and it's nice to have you on board. If you don't mind, look down there on YouTube and give me a thumbs up, a like on my video, and that will help me out a lot. I hope that you'll also subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I can build up a subscriber base. I haven't been doing YouTube that long. I did start out some time back, but I haven't used it much until recently. And I want to build up my YouTube channel. So subscribe to my videos. Give me a thumbs up. If there's something you don't like about my videos, let me know and I'll try to make it better. I'm always trying to improve no matter what I'm doing. So just let me know. Point out whatever you think is not good, and we'll see what we can do. Thanks again, everybody, and I'll see you next time.